That is a powerful film.
Yeah.
Great film. And I'm back with writer, radio host, and the film critic for AARP's bi-monthly magazine, Bill Newcott, who selected that film for us, and all the films tonight, in fact. That is indeed a great film. Recap again why you think this is a movie for grown-ups and what that means exactly, because that's what you write about.
Right, and this particular film is a grown-up movie on so many levels, and one is, of course, it's a very grown-up subject. I mean,
right.
For one thing, here we have an unwed mother as the central heroine of a film, and that's unheard of in a film at the time. And
Certainly from that period.
Yeah, certainly from that period, absolutely. And then what happens to her? I mean, the thing is, Rossellini was not afraid to let the characters be led by their circumstance, in a way. It's a highly scripted film, and yet it seems to flow as a real human story in some ways. And I think that's a grown-up approach to taking a film. You know, what we don't get a sense of here is of a bunch of people who have taken to the streets to make a movie that's going to set the score straight with the German occupiers.
Right.
What they're doing is they're managing somehow, in a very adult and grown-up manner, to emerge from what's just gone on historically in Rome and take a step back and make a truly wonderful narrative film where they're putting themselves in the place of the audience rather than being in the place of the filmmaker. And that's a difficult thing for a filmmaker to do, particularly under these circumstances.
Right.
And I think that's the essential part of it being a grown-up film. They are absolutely in control of a very emotional chapter in their history.
It's also part of the documentary history that Rossellini had to make this film, the power of it and the realism of it.
That's right.
Yeah. What are some of the films for grown-ups that are out in the market today that you recommend?
You know, the film Best Exotic Marigold Hotel, which happens to have a lot of older actors and actresses in it, and happens to talk about issues of loneliness and relationships among older people. That's a pretty darn good film for our audience. The wonderful thing about it is a great movie for a younger audience as well because of the humanity of the characters.
Another great one is the new Barbra Streisand movie, The Guilt Trip.
The Guilt Trip.
Turns out to be this wonderful movie I hadn't expected. I thought it was going to be kind of a silly little, you know, throwaway comedy, but it's got great substance to it. And
we do a film called, an awards called the Best Intergenerational Film, and that would be the kind of film that falls into that. That sort of celebrates the differences between the ages. An awful lot of films, you know, drive a wedge between the ages, and everyone, no one understands each other, and they don't really like each other. That's a film where two characters who are very different, despite the fact that they're mother and son, are drawn together in a way by the end of the film. And it's a really nice way to do it. Another film in the same vein was Parental Guidance, the Billy Crystal, Bette Midler film, which is about grandparents and grandchildren as well.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah.
Nice to know there's good stuff out there.
There is, yeah.
Not only on Turner Classic Movies,
No,
but I'm glad you watched that as well. Anyway, don't go away. Bill and I are going to return to introduce our next film. This is another one that Bill points to as a movie for grown-ups. Stars Steve Martin and Bernadette Peters.